I'm in our harvest mice breeding facility here at the zoo, and today is an exciting day because actually we're going to get our pre-vet checks done for our very first ever native species reintroduction. So we've actually got 4 individuals that are going to be moving out on Monday, and we're expecting Sam the vet here any minute, who's going to come down and do a quick vet check and make sure that they're healthy and in good enough condition to be released into the wild. But yeah, it's so exciting for us, and it's a huge stepping stone for our very first ever captive release program.
Little girl.
Yep, should be.
It's absolutely imperative that we know that these guys have got the best possible chance. We want to be providing good genetic stock and a good health status so that we have a chance to generate numbers in the wild. For us to put something out that's led a relatively cushy life in this environment where everything's provided, there's no prey, they're being health screened, they're being fed, there's no real challenges, it's an entirely different story when we're letting them go. So we need to know that they're in prime physical state before they get to that point to offer them every opportunity. You guys got the lid?
Yeah.
That's easy. You want another girl? There's innumerable challenges with them, even just going down to the handling. Thankfully these guys are experienced and know how to do it safely, but you're immediately subjecting them to a degree of stress. In practical terms, you've got very little to get hold of. For their size, they are robust, but you've got to be very careful when you're handling something that's only 7 grams. Whereas with some of our bigger patients, we might have a listen with a stethoscope, completely impractical with someone this size, and further diagnostic testing, the likes of blood sampling, endoscopy, things like that, simply not an option. So it's a case of what's practical, useful and safe, and they're the bits that we have to employ. Thank you.
Ready?
Yep. Oh, you're very cavalier about that, aren't you? No, I'm mucking about. 8 grams again.
8.
8. This is absolutely fantastic. And in terms of conservation, to do something local with native wildlife and the sort of thing that's perhaps not perceived as necessarily the most glamorous. We're not talking about sea eagles or bustards. They're the kind of thing that might be overlooked by a lot of people, but it's absolutely imperative that these things are looked after. It's wonderful that someone is taking that on board, and more so doing it in a way that's showcasing their importance to members of the public. They might come in wanting to see the tapir or the snow leopard or something else, but actually the interest that people are showing, even while we're doing this here today, it'll just emphasise to them the important role that's played by every niche of the ecosystem, that fauna right across the board is important, and I think it's wonderful that you guys are embarking on things like this.
So the vet check went really well. Sam was super happy with the condition of all the individuals that we're going to be releasing. I'll get in touch with the Wildlife Trust, give them the thumbs up. I'll be meeting them soon, and we're going to be releasing them into Northumberland. Hey, how you doing, you guys? Yes. You good? Yeah. So you're the lucky one who gets to go and release our very first ever native species.
Yeah. So we're going to be keeping one of the females that was born, number 16, which means we need 13, 14, 15, and number 1, which is this one here.
In this little box here, we have our very first ever captive bred harvest mice that are going to be getting released just down the road, actually near Hadston, from us today. So this is the very beginning of a future of releasing native wildlife back into Northumberland, and it's very exciting.
I don't know when you're recording and when you're not.
All the time.
Okay.
Let's just stick to all the time.
Okay.
All in the van, we've got the harvest mice. Good to go. So we're just literally going 4.5 miles from the zoo. It's just next to a place called Redrow, which is just down the road from us. It's about half a mile from the coast, from Druridge Bay. So it's a very nice spot. These guys are going to have a very idyllic life in Northumberland. And we're meeting Sophie from the Northumberland Wildlife Trust there. She's the one that's been in charge of the Harvest Mice Reintroduction Programme in Northumberland.
Doing it in this field with our volunteers this year. We surveyed further out and we found most of our nests within this field, so we thought we'd put these 4 in where we've seen a bigger population this year and just give them a bit more of a chance and kind of boost it. We left the bedding and the food in like a little dish of water for them for about 4 days, and then we just took that away, and it just meant that they had the option to keep coming back to a food source while they kind of got used to their freedom. And it just gives them like a soft release, so just a chance to, you don't want to leave them in cages and stuff like that you do with bigger animals. They're mice, they kind of get used to it, so a little bowl of food and a little bowl of water just means that they can come and go for a little bit.
It just fighting chance.
Yeah, it just gives them a little bit of option, just kind of like gets them used to their surroundings but have a food source there. But hopefully their instincts will kick in and they can go straight out. Our hedgerows get pretty much untouched here, so nests were found all throughout the hedgerow here, and there's about 30 yard, and again around that woodland going into one of our meadows there's about 13 found there as well, so we know that they're around. Like I said, this fieldful runs around, so they'll use that.
You guys ready?
There you go. It's just gone, drop straight down. There's a fieldful run nearby. So yeah, if you want to leave that out, it's a bit of a scent for them, isn't it? I'll just put it further down.
They're so quick, I didn't even see them.
No.
The first few mice that we released disappeared into the undergrowth almost instantly. It was amazing how well they disappeared. And then the last mouse that we had to release put on a little bit of a show for us.
A weak one.
So I was just saying what we'll do with this one, if you'd like, to get it in the hand and to kind of pop it in the grass, and you might see them if you want to get a video of them moving around.
This is where she climbs up my jumper instead. Okay.
So if you just pop it.
You ready?
Yeah.
It was amazing for all of us to see just how well adapted these mice are to this habitat. As she climbed down those little grass stems, she wrapped her prehensile tail around them to hold on like a fifth limb.
Yeah, it's amazing because it's literally what everyone wants to do when they join a zoo, is to be able to release an animal back into the wild, so it's pretty amazing to be a part of that. I just saw one of them go down. I got distracted while you were filming.
And obviously she disappeared into the undergrowth so quickly and then popped straight back out again. It was so nice to see. and once she had enough, she disappeared into the undergrowth. Well, that was awesome. Our 4 girls are now loose in Northumberland, and the 3 youngsters kind of took off, and the one that was slightly older kind of hung around for a bit and ate some grass in front of us, kept popping out and saying hello, so that was so nice to see, and the ladies from the Northumberland Wildlife Trust were just amazed. So we got some great shots, and it was a success. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't done already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and support the work that we do. We'll see you next week.